This is a review for how to solve system of equations with three variables. Right now, I look at what I have. I have three different equations, and they are distinct. None of these will reduce to the others. What I like to do first of all is to label them equations 1, 2, and 3, so that way I have something to talk to. I don't have to keep rewriting the equation to talk about it. The first step, this is just kind of part of the setup, is to do this. Now, the first step is I'm going to decide which one of these variables, x, y, or z, am I going to eliminate. And it's personal preference. You just look at it and you're deciding which of these equations you could combine that would eliminate a variable. It won't make any difference. And so I just decide to pick x because it's the first letter there. And to do that is my next step, is I pick two equations that I'm going to eliminate the x. And I look at ways that I could combine these equations. And I notice that if I added equation 1, which has a negative x, with equation 3 that has a positive x, that the x's would go away. So I'm going to add those two equations. I rewrote them so that it was easier to see them. Adding them together, I get negative 6z equals negative 18, which means z equals 3. This is nice. This does not always happen, but I just happened to eliminate a variable, and when I eliminated just this x, it actually eliminated both x and y, and I was able to solve for one of the variables. And so if this didn't happen, I would do step 2 again, picking two different ones. But since I was able to get one of the variables, I'm going to move on to step 3, which is to substitute that variable into one of the equations that I had. And so it doesn't make any difference which ones. I already used equations 1 and 3, so I'm going to use equations 1 and 2. And starting with equation 1, I'm going to plug in that 3 and simplify. And now I see that I have an equation with two variables. I will call that equation A. I'm going to do the same thing, substituting the z equals 3 in to equation number 2, and then simplify that. I have a different equation with two variables. I will call that equation B. Now I'm going to decide of these two variables, x and y, which one I want to eliminate, and I decide to eliminate y. Because I already tried eliminating x, let's try eliminating y this time. To do that, I would just take equation B and subtract equation A, because both of them are negative. So if I took B, which is negative 5y, and subtracted a negative 5y, my y's would be gone. And so I'm going to subtract, as you can see here. What I'm going to do is distribute that negative, which allows me just to collect terms. And I end up with x equals negative 2. Well, now that I have two variables, z, and I have x solved for, I just do step 5, which is to plug both of those variables into any one of the three equations. So I just decide that I'm going to do it into equation 1, and there I've plugged the x in, I've plugged in the z, and I'm going to solve for y. And I get that y equals negative 3. Now, lest you think that you are done, you've written these down, you need to answer in an ordered triplet, and so you should answer in the proper format.